let me also now welcome in our next guest. We've got Neeraj Jain, the Joint MD at Vardhman Textiles, joining us this morning to share with us really the outlook currently on business. And Neeraj, world cotton prices are down by 29% in the last year. Talk to us about the current world balance sheet scenario, how you see the price moving in the next couple of months or in the near term.
Yeah, good morning. I think the prices have come down by a good amount in the last couple of months, and the next year the overall crop seems to be quite good. So with the consumption and the production rates, I think there's going to be some increase in the overall bird stocks, and maybe this is one of the reasons why the prices are a little bearish as of now. And also because of the US and China issue, I think it's not a good sentiment of textiles worldwide. So that's another reason where the consumptions are coming down. And as a result of that, the prices of raw materials have been coming down in the international market.
What happens to your spinning margins when cotton prices they come down? Because spinning margins essentially are a function of spread. But in a declining cotton price scenario, do you also take a cut on your spinning spreads on the coarse count and also on the fine count?
There are two factors related to that. So the cotton prices, though the international market prices have come down, but unfortunately in India the prices have come down only by about 5% or so, as compared to almost 25% reduction in the world prices. And that's primarily because in India we are short of cotton, because one, the crop was less, two, we exported in the proper season. As a result, we are short of cotton, and because of the scarcity, the prices have not come down. So actually the prices of all spinning mills have the margins of the all spinning mills are much less, because we are consuming a much higher cost of cotton compared to the international prices, whereas the yarn gets adjusted to the international prices of cotton as well as the international markets. So actually the margins in this period have come down in a big way.
And what happens to the fabric prices, if I may ask you an extension of that? I mean, how does the cycle work? When cotton prices they come down, do you immediately cut down the fabric prices, or it happens with a lag effect?
Normally, there is always some time lag between the prices adjustment on the fabric side. So it's a little better compared to the spinning margins as of now, because the prices don't come down in the same way with what comes down especially in the coarser counts in the spinning margins. So that's a little better compared to the spinning margins as of now.
Okay, I want to understand, there's been a lot of to and fro and war of words when it comes to the US-China trade war. Does that in any way impact you? Have your imports from the US increased?
Yeah, the entire country is increasing the import of cotton, because as I mentioned, we are short of cotton. So the biggest crop in the world which is exportable is the US cotton only. So most of these spinning players have started importing the cotton, but again it's a much expensive cost because of the logistics, because of the basic cost of cotton, since there's a shortage, so every one of us is importing. Normally India imports about 10 lakh bales of cotton every year. We expect this year it could go to as high as 30 lakh bales. But again, it's a much expensive cotton compared to what we could have got in India had the export not happened. So I think the spinning margins definitely for all spinning players across country are going to be very bad this time.
There's an expectation of a drop in cotton output this season as well. Does that mean you're also going to be importing more? What are the inventory levels likely to look at going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Since the overall export of yarn is less, so everyone in the country is trying to sell in the domestic market, whereas domestic can't consume that much apart. So everyone is added onto the inventory, and as a result, most of the spinner or many of the spinners have started looking at cutting the production by 1 day or 2 days, 20%, 25%. There's lots of talks going on into the industry where people have started cutting down onto the spinning production so that they can get some respite from the inventories increasing.
Can you give me a sense on what will happen to your top line because cotton prices are down? Will there be an immediate impact in your top line because the underlying asset has gone down, or you will be able to take care of that because of value addition and because of change in your product mix?
For Vardhman, I don't think there's any issue on the top line. There are two reasons. One, though the prices may have come down, but at the same time we have expanded some capacity in the spinning as well as on the fabric side in this period. So with the additional revenue from those assets, I think on the top line we should be in a position to maintain the same.
So, on the pricing front, the MSP, of course, has been increased, and yet we're having that impact on the global prices. What's the outlook? How do you see the trend moving on domestic prices going forward? And also, are you passing on any change in price to the consumer?
It's very difficult to pass on to the consumer because, again, it depends upon, it's a freely exportable commodity, and the world prices decides what kind of yarn prices should be there. So India alone cannot increase or pass on the prices to the consumer. On the MSP increase, yes, there's been an increase of about 2% as of now. And realistically, going by the seed prices and the outturn, I think the cotton price in India are not likely to go below 42,000, 42 or 43,000 rupees a candy, which will convert into the cents is going to be almost close to about 83 cents per pound, whereas the US cotton is available today at 76, 77 cents. So even in the new season, there's a not very big hope that the Indian spinning margins will improve unless the world market or the world prices of cotton goes up. So even with the new crop coming in, I don't foresee any big or any major change onto the spinning margins unless we look at really the world prices are also moving up.
What if cotton prices come down another 15%? What happens to your business? What happens to inventory? What happens to your inventory losses?
The inventory losses may not be really big because by the time all these prices will calm down, I think the season will off and we'll be buying the new inventory from September. But definitely, if the world prices keeps on coming down and Indian prices are at the same level, so the industry becomes very incompetitive, lots of capacity will get closed. And I think for next 1 or 2 years is going to be a big chaos, but I think ultimately if the marginal players goes out or the weaker players goes out, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, we could look at a far better integrated, far better consolidated industry which can give again a better margin. But in the meantime, intervening period, this could be very, very painful in terms of running the capacities, in terms of the employment, in terms of all these issues which are we going to face.
Getting any benefits because of trade war? We understand that big companies have started moving their sourcing away from China to Vietnam, even to Thailand, Indonesia. Are you getting a sense that buyers whom you always wanted to work with, but you were not able to work with because you were not efficient because of your costing, that business is coming back?
The factor would be, yes, on the spinning side, I don't think for Vardhman that's an issue as of now, but definitely we have to compete and we have to sell them with the market prices only. In case my cost is higher, they are least bothered about the same. So the prices of yarn, prices of fabric will be dependent upon what the international prices are. And if we are in a position to give them based upon that, I don't think they have any intensity or they have any intentions to move to the different countries. But of course, it depends upon our competitiveness, our cost, how we can look at it, reducing that. But again, it's a big challenge as raw material is almost 60% of the spinning cost in India. So in case that cost is much bigger, it's going to be very, very difficult for the spinning industry to make margins.
All right, appreciate your time and thank you for joining us.